All right, it's our last video of this series, how to make the perfect audition book. If you haven't seen part 1, 2, and 3 of the series, you can get those links either by just searching on our YouTube channel or in the comments or description of this video below. All right, it's our last video of the series, and today we are talking about how to write and notate all of the notes for the accompanist and make this paper look as clean and professional as possible so your audition accompanist can nail it on the first try. Okay, here we go. Let's start with an example of Heaven's Light, my song, my musical theater Disney song here, Heaven's Light from Hunchback of Notre Dame. And I'm going to talk you through a few real world examples just so you can get an idea of what a clean audition book looks like. You've printed on double-sided paper. You put that in your audition book, ideally without the screen, or what do you call those, page protectors. You can use them as long as they're non-glare. I personally don't like them, but that is up to you. And here is my music here. So what I'm going to do first is I want to have clear start and end points. Now, we've already talked about the cuts on a previous episode, but I'll go ahead and talk about it a little bit here just so we have an idea. So I've already discovered that I need 33 bars in order to make my 90-second audition for a 32-bar cut. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out part 2 of the series where I talk about what a 32-bar cut audition actually is, that it's actually 90 seconds, and how to calculate that equation to figure out the number of bars you need. For this song, it's going to be 33 bars. So I know I've already done the work of where that goes. It goes from here to here. So first, what I want you to do is I want you to write start at the beginning of this. I want you to put a nice, clean, and please do it neatly. It's very important to do this neatly. Very important. If you have really bad handwriting, get your friend to do it that has great handwriting. So here's the start button, and I want you to put a little box around it so it's nice and neat. Okay? So there's start, and then I want you to take your highlighter. It can be any color, but as long as it's not blue or something dark. Do a nice light, and I just want you to highlight start, and nice and neat. You see how neat that is? It's so neat. Okay, so now I have start nice and neat. Now look how pretty this is. I know as an accompanist, okay, I'm starting right here. It's right here. It's for me. Start. Okay, easy. So now I want you to go to the end. So let's figure out where the end is. Oh, I know the end is right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put end right here. This is going to be the end of the cut. Again, I'm doing this very neatly, as neat as I can. And then I'm going to highlight it. Let's go ahead and highlight the end. So now I have my start and finish. Now, while we're here at the end, what happens a lot in these cuts, when you make your own cuts, is that it may not resolve exactly like a real ending would. So I want to make sure that there's a clean ending. So I know be ba ba boom boom. So I'm going to say what I want here is I'm going to put right here, and I'm going to put a fake ending here. Now, in music, what that means is you usually see 2 bars like this, a double bar line they call it, because there's a double bar line. The second part is a little bit thicker. So now that means end, and then I'm going to cut this out, just do a little X, and then I'm going to say F. Okay? And then I'm going to put a fermata. This is called a fermata. It looks like a little bird's eye, like that. So now I know that's the end, right here, as an accompanist. End, F, bang, done. Okay, so now I just need to see if I have any cuts. Do I have any internal cuts? Oh, no cuts for me on this song. Bang, I've got the start, and I've got the end. Done. Okay, let's look at another example of another song. So let's say Note to Self. So this is my singer-songwriter selection that I've done. I know that I need 30 bars. Again, if you're trying to figure out why is he talking about 30 bars in different versions, check out part 2 of this series, and that will explain how I'm coming up with the number of 30 bars. So for this song, I need 30 bars. So I've already decided that I'm doing here. I've already decided I'm cutting from here to here. Okay, so let's go. So first thing we're going to do, we already talked about this, write start. Austin, why do I need to put start? It's obviously the start of the song. This is the start of the song. Why would I put start? Well, good question. The reason you do that is for clarity. The accompanists are looking at a lot of auditions all day long. Some start in the middle, some start here, some start there. They're not all so clearly written like yours is going to be. You want to just be clear because they might get confused just from looking at auditions all day. So by having this little thing, they know exactly how to start this song and where you wanted them to do it. So their start. Now we're going to go to the end where I'm going to end the cut. I've decided that I'm going to end it right here. So I'm going to say end. Just like that. This is a lot of fun. It's like arts and crafts time. Okay, so there's the end. Now I've got a big chunk of music that I've got to cut, as you can probably see. So I'm going to cut from here to here. Now how am I going to do that? Well, look, I got a whole page that I can cut out. So I'm going to get rid of this page. Bye. There goes that page. Now I'm going to make a cut from here to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a double bar. So I'm going to go one big bar line here, another big bar line parallel right next to it, another heavy bar line here, another heavy bar line right next to it. Okay, so there's my cut. Now I'm going to draw a circle in the middle of it. Draw a circle in the middle of it. And then I'm going to connect them with a nice wavy line. Normally you put like a big S, like if you're going from here to here, you'd put an S, but here you can just do a nice wavy line. And now the trick is I'm going to highlight it just to draw attention to it. Highlight, highlight. And now I know I'm going from here to here. It's so obvious. For extra clarity, you're always going to put an X on the measure of the bars that are out on this page. So I'm going to take a big X and just one clean X through the whole thing like that. Don't scribble. Don't do all that dumb stuff. Just an X. If you want, and you want extra credit, you can get a white piece of paper over this whole section and get rid of this whole thing. So these bars that you don't want to played, you can just white them out and you'll copy it that way. So it's just showing the bars that you want played. Okay, so that's clear. So now I have that to there, and I know I'm just continuing on, blah, 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 and I know that's the end. As we talked about with the other example, there's extra music here, so I'm just gonna put my double bar line to finish this. So I'm gonna do a nice thick double bar line, and then I'm gonna say E flat, oops, my E flat chord, and then I'm gonna put, yeah, you can either, I could actually, kind of notate out my E flat. What is going on with my pencil? I can notate out my B flat chord like this. My E flat chord, sorry. E flat to finish, end, done. And then I can X out this extra stuff, just to be clear, you don't need to play that. Cool? So that's that example, there we go. Okay, once you're done with putting start and end points in every song and the cuts, that should be clear now. Hopefully you understand. If you have more than one cut, by the way, you just do the same process. Now we're going to put our dynamics and draw attention to any dynamics that we want them to see. So in this song, say that it's really important for me to sing this first song quietly and I want the accompaniment to be. Make sure that there's a P here. So you see how there's a P? If it's really important, you can highlight it. So say that soft is very important. I'm going to highlight that little soft just very lightly so they see that. And say that this is loud. I'm going to highlight this loud. And if something is crucial to your audition, you could even say loud with an exclamation point or something like that. And that's just a fun way for them to say, oh, this must be really important, loud, okay? So go through your audition and then shape in any dynamics. So say that it's important that on this part right here that you're coming way down. So you might want to add in a decrescendo here. Add in your decrescendo. That's important. If it's super important or crucial to your audition, just highlight it. Things that are highlighted are extra important. Okay, so now we put in our dynamics. So you just do the whole song like that. Any dynamics that are important, put them in, write them in if they're not there, and then highlight them if they're really crucial to your audition. Next, key changes, tempo changes, anything crucial like that, that's so important to highlight for an audition accompanist. Let's take a look at a real world example here. So this is Be a Lion from The Wiz. Now, we've already talked about how this is chicken scratch and very hard to read. That is true. But I wanted to show you the example of a key change. So say this is your audition. You're singing along right here, and now there's a key change. You want to highlight that for the accompanist. It's very important. So draw attention to it by highlighting it. Then they know, ooh, key change. I don't want to mess up this page. Because if you don't highlight that and they just happen to turn the page early and not see it, they could be playing wrong notes and then you could be way off in your vocal. So you want to always make sure that you highlight any key signature changes or tempo changes. Next, you want to make sure that you highlight tempo changes like retards, accelerandos, and fermatas and caesuras. What's a fermata? It's a hold. It's where I go da 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 da, and then I go back into tempo. A caesura is a big long pause. So say I go da da and da 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 da. That little space, that breath in there is called a caesura. I would put railroad tracks for that. So let's look at an example. This is Heaven's Light from Hunchback of Notre Dame, one of my examples. Towards the end of it, I have a big high note and I have a fermata. You'll see that by this little bird's eye doop boop thing. I want to make sure to highlight that really big. I want to highlight this fermata because that's crucial for the accompanist to stop. Okay, so I've highlighted that. You can even highlight this rallentando, which means to slow down. Okay, so that way they know. If you wanted a caesura, like if you wanted a big breath, you would put railroad tracks after that. So you'd put these little side guys. Doop doop, little diagonal railroad tracks. And that means that there's gonna be a little pause there, okay? So now I know as an accompanist, I swear it must be heaven's light, and then I know that I'm coming right in with you on light. Okay, so there's a little trick. Always highlight fermatas, accelerandos, retards, rallentandos. There's a million words for these things, but any type of tempo change you want to highlight. Okay, lastly, you want to highlight any end chords, or if something is different than the actual ending. Like I showed you on another example here, let me pull that up. On this example of Heaven's Light, I wrote in F, so I'm going to highlight that, and there's my fermata. So I'm just kind of highlighting this end, and it's an F chord, so that way I know it's done. You just want to highlight those important details that are different from the score so that it draws attention to the change. Okay, we're basically done. You've got your songs learned, you've got them marked up. You're going to repeat this process for the 16-bar version of your audition, the 32-bar cut version of your audition, and you're going to have the whole song. All those three versions are going to be in your book, different, printed out, and each of those versions is going to have the cuts written, the start and end points written and highlighted, and it's going to have, even the full version is going to have start and end. It's going to have all of the key changes highlighted, all that stuff we talked about. Each version needs to be prepped in this way to make it clear for your accompanist, no matter. That way you're ready for any audition that you happen to walk into. You've got the version already prepped and ready for them, so there's no guesses about what's going on. Okay, so everything's done. Now you just want to arrange all of the songs in your book by the categories we talked about. It doesn't really matter what order you put them in, just whatever audition you're going in for that day, put that one at the front so it's nice and easy. So move the auditions, songs that you're going to be using that day in the front of your book. Also might be nice to have a table of contents, so that when a music director asks what songs are in your book, you have a nice table of contents and then you can flip to a certain page in your book so you're ready to go. You did the work. I'm hoping that you've got 20 new songs that you love and that now you're rehearsing. It may take a few months to get them ready to go and actually prepped for the audition, but you can do it. You've done the work. It's going to pay off. You planted the seed. Now you're just waiting for the full harvest so that you can really reap the benefits of having this great new book. Let me know in the comments what you've ended up with, what songs you've chosen, how it's going, how you feel about this process. Look, it's a lot of work. I know you're probably cursing me. You're like, this is way too much work. Look, being an actor, a musical theater actor, is a lot of hard work. This is just part of it. So definitely hit that like button if you found this video helpful, and subscribe with the notification bell on so you don't miss our next episode where we talk about a bunch more tips and tricks related to the musical theater audition. All right, break a leg out there, and hopefully we'll see you in the audition room soon.